Good afternoon, everyone. Hope your day is going well. Spokane Steve here with you, and it's time once again for Strat-O-Matic Baseball. Hi to Frank and Ben. Yeah, Mookie's around here somewhere. He's wild today. He might attack. Unfortunately, his latest thing is to get up on this desk and get to my cork board, and he pulls the push pins out with his teeth and gets them on the floor and plays them. I'm afraid he's going to swallow one or something. So I've had to put that up and only bring it down for game time. I've got my fielding, my ground ball charts on there. Of course, I'm getting used to the super advanced ground ball result chart. Just to clarify, I am playing the advanced game, but with the super advanced stealing and ground ball result. Mainly because, when a runner's on second, ground ball to the right side, he's going to take third. In the advanced game and the basic game, that is not always the case, which doesn't seem very realistic to me. And welcome to Kenyon and Kelly as well to the chat here. We've got the White Sox at the Tigers today. Tigers always entertaining. White Sox struggling a bit at 9-15. Tigers 14-11. Before we get into that one, I went ahead and printed out yesterday's box score. I thought it was kind of interesting because the computer game, Hal, we like to call him, right? Hal awarded the win to Short, who only pitched a third of an inning and gave Hall the save. I wasn't quite sure how that was going to play out. In a case like this, the official rule is that the official score awards the win to the pitcher who was the most effective, and I'm thinking, well, only a third of an inning. Hard to say who was more effective. Short with a third of an inning, which he gave up a hit, or Hall with 2 innings, 4 hits and a run. Stang was tough in the loss. Bullpen kind of gave it up for Cleveland there. Anyway, we'll move on to today's game. Tommy John on the mound for the White Sox, Hank Aguirre for the Tigers, 2 lefties. John, a really good card, so far has not translated to the replay. He's 2-4 with a very high 5.03 ERA in 6 starts. For Aguirre, he's made 4 relief appearances in 2 starts, and he's 2-0 with a brilliant 2.29 ERA across 20 innings of work. So we'll see how it plays out. A little cooler today, just 85 degrees in Spokane. And let's get to the starting lineups for the White Sox. It's going to be Don Buford leading off at second base. Floyd Robinson in right field hitting second. Tommy Agee in center in the 3 spot. John Romano will do the catching and bat cleanup. Gene Freese at third base hitting 5th. Bill Skowron at first base. Danny Cater in left field against the left-hander. And Al Weiss is at shortstop today batting 8th. Tommy John, of course, hits 9th. Defensively for Detroit, it'll be Bill Freehan behind the plate. Cash at first. Lumpy at second. Ray Euler gets another start at shortstop with Wirt down at third, and the outfield left to right of Horton, Demeter, and Kaline. So with that being said, we're ready to roll here. Aguirre's ready. Buford stands in, switch hitter batting right-handed. Don comes into the game hitting .242, 3 home runs and 17 RBIs. Aguirre gets the sign, from Freehand, and here's the pitch to Buford. That's going to be a 4-4 right-handed. It's a ground ball to third base X. That's a tough chance for Wirt. Wirt, a fine fielder, a 2E13 at third. And here's the play on an 11. It's the E range. So the roll is an 8 on an E13. And he makes the play for the out. So a nice play by Don Wirt to get us started. One away, and Floyd Robinson will be the batter. Floyd, a left-handed hitting outfielder, hitting .291 on the season. 4 home runs, 11 RBIs. The White Sox, as you probably know by now, have been offensively challenged this year. And their fielding not much better. They've got a great pitching staff, which oftentimes is undermined by their defense. So here's Robinson now. Aguirre left on left. Comes right in there with a 6-4 fly to center and shallow. That's going to be for Demeter. He's there to make the play 2 down. And that'll bring up Tommy Agee, probably the best player on the White Sox. Off to a very slow start, however, just 178, 18 for 101. Does not have a home run yet and just 9 RBIs. So Agee trying to get his season on track as Aguirre gets the sign from Freehand, and here's the pitch to Agee. That's a 1-8 left-handed. That's a base hit into left field. Just past the outstretched glove of Don Wirt. And Agee's aboard with a 2-out single. Agee with wheels. Let's check his stealing now. Star 17. The battery, Aguirre, a -1 hold. Freehand with a -3 gun behind the plate, however. That makes the battery -4. That knocks Freehand down to a 13 without being held. Early in the game, they will hold him on, however, making him an 11. That'll bring up Romano. Romano hitting .275. 3 homers, 10 RBIs for the right-handed hitting catcher. Aguirre checks the runner now from the stretch. It's a 2-4 lefty, fly ball to right field. An easy play for Al Kaline, and that will do it. So no runs, a hit, 1 left. After half an inning, Chicago nothing, Detroit coming to bat. And welcome to the chat, Mike. Yeah, no doubt, Kenny. In the third of an inning, and he gets the win. I was surprised, quite frankly. I really thought, if I'd had to put money on it, I'd have thought they'd have given the win to Hall. But I just go with what I'm entering the game manually into the computer version, so I pretty much have to go with their results. And a shout out to Greg, who's entered the chat as well. Here's the Tigers lineup. Don Wirt, who made that fine play in the top of the inning, leads it off at third base. Jerry Lumpy at second base in the 2 spot. Stormin' Norman. Norm Cash in the 3 spot at first base. Al Kaline in right bats cleanup. Willie Horton in left field hits 5th. Don Demeter in center in the 6th spot. Bill Freehand, the catcher, Ray Euler, the shortstop, and Hank Aguirre, the pitcher, round out the lineup. The White Sox defensively have Romano catching, Bill Skowron at first, Buford and Weiss up the middle with Freeze at third, and the outfield left to right of Cater, Agee, and Floyd Robinson. So here's Wirt to lead it off for Detroit. Detroit 265 as a team. They've scored 121 runs compared to the White Sox that batted 238 as a team and only scored 87 runs. So a big difference in offense. But also a big difference in team ERA, 4.02 for the Tigers, a fine 3.55 for the White Sox. So here's Wirt to start things off. Wirt hitting .245 so far, a pair of homers, 8 RBIs. Tommy John ready to go to work now. Here's the windup. And the pitch to Wirt is a 6-9 right-handed. He struck him out. So Wirt down on strikes. And here's Jerry Lumpy, the left-handed hitting second baseman. Lumpy hitting .245. 2 homers, 8 RBIs, same as Wirt. Left on left as John delivers. 4-7 left-handed, swung on and missed, strike 3. So Tommy John comes out and announces his presence with authority today, striking out the first 2 batters. And here's Norm Cash now with K-Line on deck. Cash 263, 5 homers, 12 RBIs. Left on left, John into the windup. Here's the pitch. It's a 4-11 lefty. He pops him up on the right side. Skowron will take it. And it's a 1-2-3 inning for Tommy John. 1 inning in the books, and we are scoreless. Well, to answer your question, Frank, he's around here somewhere. He was going crazy just before game time. Maybe he wore himself out and he's napping now. I had to go to the chiropractor early. When I got home, he totally went spazoid. Okay, Aguirre getting loose now. Gene Freese will lead it off for Chicago. Freese playing third base today where he's a 4.53. My God, can you imagine that? Offensively, he's hitting .227, just 5 for 22. He does have a home run. Aguirre checks a sign from Freehand. Now here's the pitch to Freese. That's going to be a 6-2 righty. It's a grounder to the pitcher X. Aguirre, about as bad as you can be, quite frankly. A 5.51, so hold your breath on this one. And here's the roll on the play on a 3. That's a single. Generous scoring, in this broadcaster's opinion, as Aguirre should have handled that. It'll go as a leadoff single for Freese. Freese with asterisk 15 speed. 1 through 12 running, but a star 15 stealer. -4 for the Detroit battery again, however, will knock him down to an 11, so there's no need to even hold him on. Boy, they weren't they, Frank? Back in the old days, even before Aparicio. God, who am I thinking of? The other Lou App, right? Luke Appling. Wasn't Luke Appling a White Sox shortstop? They were the Go-Go Sox. Small ball all the way. Good pitching. Try to scrap out a run here and there. With the battery of Aguirre and Freehand, however, that's really going to limit the White Sox base stealing at least, as Bill Skowron steps to the plate. Skowron hitting .224. Pair of homers, just 3 ribbies. Aguirre from the stretch. That's a 6-7 righty to Skowron. That's a ground ball to shortstop. That's Euler. 2 Lumpy, 2 Cash. Double play. So a 6-4-3 double play erases the runner. 2 down, nobody on, and here's Danny Cater now. Cater starting in left field against the left-handed pitcher, as he usually does. Just 7 for 31 on the season. That's .226. He does have 1 home run. Aguirre gets the sign now, and here's the pitch to Cater. It's a 4-6 right-handed. A base hit into left field. A solidly stroked single for Cater. The White Sox have their second hit of the inning with a double play. Looming large here as Al Weiss comes to the plate. Weiss playing short today where he's a 3.68. Offensively, just 4 for 24, 167. Switch hitter batting right-handed against Aguirre. And here's the pitch on a 5-6. Swung on and missed, strike 3. And down go the White Sox in the second. No runs, a pair of hits, 1 left on. And we are still scoreless. And welcome to Keith Long. Yeah, I believe that, Frank. Definitely believe that. I used to have a video. It was mostly Dodgers. I know Maury Wills was in it. I had the pleasure of meeting Maury once, actually. It was long after he finished playing. In fact, I think it was right after he finished managing Seattle. Anyway, I digress. He said basically the same thing. He said our offense was I would get on, steal second, Gilliam would either bunt or hit the ball to the right side and get me over to third, and the next guy would hit a sacrifice fly, and I'd come back to the dugout and look at Sandy and say, there's your run. Al Kaline will lead it off for Detroit in the bottom of the second. Kaline leading the club and hitting at .341, also in home runs and RBIs with 6 and 19 respectively. So Kaline's been the offensive cog in this lineup. Tommy John gets the sign from Romano. Here's the pitch to Kaline on a 4-3 right-handed. It's a fly ball into right field X. That'll be Robinson. Tough play for Floyd. A 2E12 as Robinson races towards the gap. Here's the roll on the play. On a 3, he's not going to get it. That's down for a single. Tough play. But Kaline will reach. So a leadoff single for Al Kaline. And here's Willie Horton now. Horton .317 on the season. 7 home runs. Oh, excuse me. Kaline does not lead in home runs. Horton leads the team in homers with 7 and has 16 RBIs. So here's Horton now. Excellent power against lefties particularly. Tommy John working out of the stretch. Here's the pitch to William Horton. That's going to be a 4-3 right-handed. A fly to right field X. It's another tough play for Floyd. 2E12. And here's the play on a 6. He's got it. Nice running catch by Floyd. In fact, he robbed a base hit from Willie Horton right there with an amazing catch. That's going to go as a 9X web gem, and there's one away. Let me refresh the screen here so I can see the bottom half of the chat. Right, Keith. Yeah, I would say that was the last team of that type, really, wasn't it? 1982 World Series champions. Here's Don Demeter now. Demeter .222 on the year. 2 homers, 9 RBIs. Demeter started the season off like a ball of fire and really hasn't done much since. John ready to work now. Out of the stretch. That's a .210 left-handed. It's a fly ball into right field. Another play for Robinson, who runs it down in the gap. So a base hit by Kaline, followed by 2 flyouts to right, and here's Bill Freehan. Freehan hitting just .213 so far, 3 homers and 9 RBIs. Tommy John from the stretch now. 111 left-handed, slow roller to first. Skowron will take it to the bag, and that's the inning. No runs, a hit, 1 left on. We're through 2 completes, scoreless here in Detroit. Hank Aguirre getting loose for the third. Tommy John will lead it off for the White Sox. John Betts right-handed. He's a 6 hitting card with N power. And here's the pitch from Aguirre. On a 5-9 right-handed, it's a lazy fly ball to left field. Horton comes in a few steps and gloves it for the out. We'll turn the lineup over, and here's Don Buford once again. Buford grounded to third his first time up. Standing in the right-handed batter's box as Aguirre staring in to get his sign, and here's the pitch to Buford. 1-9 lefty. He struck him out. Second K of the game for Aguirre. 2 down, and here's Floyd Robinson. Robinson 0 for 1. Aguirre into the windup. That's going to be a 110 left-handed lazy fly ball into right field. Can of corn for Al Kaline, and it's a 1-2-3 inning for Hank Aguirre. So both pitchers very much on their game in the early going here. Of course, you know, we've had many games like that. Started out as pitchers' duels. Some end up that way, and some go a completely different direction. Bottom of the third, Ray Euler will start it off for Detroit. Euler, a glove first shortstop, not much of a hitter, just 1 for 13 so far, does not have an RBI. Right-handed batter. John into the windup now. The pitch to Euler is a 6-7 righty, and he loses him ball 4. How about that? Boy, you kind of think you got to challenge a hitter like that, but Euler works out the leadoff walk. That brings up Aguirre. Aguirre, a switch hitter, batting right-handed. A C bunter, and he's going to try to lay it down. 11 on a C, he pops it up. Skowron makes the play, and the runners hold. So Aguirre unable to get down the bunt. And that'll bring up Don Wirt for the second time today. Wirt struck out his first time against TJ. John, a glance over at Euler, now from the stretch. A 6-7 right-handed, he walks him. Second walk of the inning issued by Tommy John. Euler takes second. And here's Jerry Lumpy. Norm Cash looming in the on-deck circle. Lumpy left on left. The pitch from 4-5 left-handed. A grounder to second base. Buford has it. Goes to Weiss for 1 to Skowron. Not in time. That'll be a force play. Whoops. I beg your pardon. Four, 6 force. Euler to third. And here comes Norm Cash with 2 outs and runners at the corners. Tommy John studying the signs now. Now he's set. From the stretch, pitch to Cash is a 1-7 lefty. Fly ball into center field. Ranging back is Agee, and he's there to make the catch to retire the side. No runs, no hits, a pair left. We're through 3 innings rather quickly here in Detroit, and we are scoreless. Third game of a 3-game set. The Tigers won the first 2, trying to use the White Sox to make up some ground on Baltimore. They come into this game trailing the Orioles by 3.5 games. Agee, Romano, and Freese, the heart of the order, due up for Chicago here. Agee singled his first time up. Aguirre gets the sign from Freehand. Here's the windup and the pitch to Agee. A 6-12 right-handed as a grounder to the pitcher X. 5E51 again. Here's the play. On a 3, he's not going to get it. That's another base hit off of the pitcher. Agee 13 not held. In a scoreless game, they're going to hold him. That makes him 11. And here's Romano. So Agee takes his lead. Aguirre, a throw over there. Agee back to the bag. Romano 0 for 1. Aguirre gets the sign now, and from the stretch comes to the plate 2-7, grounder to shortstop. Euler has it to Lumpy for 1 to Cash, not in time. So a 6-4 force. Agee is erased, and the much slower Romano takes first. And here's Gene Freese, the third baseman. Freese singled his first time up. One of 4 singles on the afternoon for the White Sox so far. 1 down. Aguirre from the stretch. Pitch to Gene is a 6-5. That's a high fly ball to deep left field. Horton back now at the track, at the wall, leaps, and it's gone. Home run, Gene Freese. And the White Sox strike first and take a 2-0 lead. Let's take another look at it. 6-5, homer to 13. Freese has end power, and on a 12, he just does barely get it out of here. And for Gene Freese, just his second home run of the season. That's basically true, Ben. Yeah. 38 or more. If he rolled a 2 and the white die was a 4 through a 6, he could make an out. Other than that, it's a hit or an error as long as he's on the mound. Here's Skowron now, 0 for 1 today. That's a 4-7 right-handed. That's a base hit into center for Skowron. So 3 hits in the inning off of Aguirre. Well, isn't it? 5 pitcher. E38 or more. Split result on a 2. That's the 2 red dice. So snake eyes on the 2 red dice, and on the white die, the difference. 1 base error on a 1 through 3, ground ball A on a 4 through 6. Yeah, no, you weren't. There's basically no chance of a 5E51 making a play on the X chart. So Skowron aboard with 1 down. Here's Danny Cater now. Cater singled his first time up. Aguirre gets the sign. Pitch to Cater. 4-8 right-handed. That's a single to 2, and on a 2 he gets it. How about that? Knocked down at short by Euler, but he has no play. That's going to go as an infield hit. Skowron will hold up at second. And the White Sox are all over Aguirre here in the 4th. Here's the light-hitting Al Weiss, pitcher on deck. Aguirre trying to get out of this mess now. Weiss struck out his first time today. Batting right-handed. And here's the pitch from Aguirre. 6-6 right-handed. That is a single 2 stars on a 17. That's going to plate another run. Here comes Skowron to score. Cater will scoot into third. And it's an RBI single for Al Weiss. That makes it 3-0. Aguirre being roughed up here in the 4th, and now there's action already in the Detroit bullpen. Joe Sparma throwing down there. Real life score was a wild one. Runners at the corners, 1 out. John's going to hit away. Right-handed batter. Aguirre with the sign. Here's the pitch to Tommy John. It's a 6-7 grounder to short. That's going to be 2. It's Euler to Lumpy to Cash. And Aguirre wiggles out of it. 3 runs scored for the Sox. On 5 hits, they leave 1. The pitcher's best friend bails out Aguirre in the 4th. Sparma sits down for now as Tommy John gets loose for the bottom of the inning. Tommy John, of course, one of my should be in the Hall of Fame guys. Louis Tiant, Veda Pinson, a couple of others. Okay, to the bottom of the 4th we go. White Sox lead it by 3. It'll be Kaline, Horton, and Demeter, who, as Frank pointed out, is way due. Kaline, the only Tiger hit so far today, singled in the 2nd. Tommy John now into the windup. Here's the pitch to Alpha Kaline. That's a 1-7 left-handed, and he draws the leadoff walk. Kaline aboard to start things off here in the bottom of the 4th. Here's Willie Horton now. We've seen Horton explode against lefties a couple of times this replay already, have we not? He's 0 for 1 today. Tommy John working out of a stretch now. Here comes the pitch to Horton on a 2-9. That's crushed to deep left field. Cater starts back and then turns around and admires it as it lands halfway up the seats. A 2-run blast by Willie Horton, and we've got ourselves a ball game. 3-2 White Sox. Let's take another look at that one. Well, what's to look at? 2-9, there's no doubt about it. Kaline scores ahead of him, and for Willie Horton, his 8th home run of the season. Yes, Pete should be in. Getting into a different can of worms there, of course, but I agree completely. Pete Rose, Shoeless Joe Jackson, pretty much all of the steroid guys, as far as I'm concerned. The owners knew it was going on, and they allowed it because it was making them money. So here's Demeter now. Oh wait, that's Don Demeter. Demeter 0 for 1. John rubbing up a new ball. Now staring in for the sign. Here's the windup. The pitch to Demeter is a 5-6 right-handed, swung on and missed, strike 3, and Demeter's struggles continue. Here's Freehand now, 0 for 1 today. John gets the sign. Here's the pitch to Freehand. It's a 5-5 right-handed. It's a grounder to shortstop X. Tough play for Weiss as he ranges into the hole. A 3E68. And here's the roll on the play. That's going to be a 7. He's got it and throws him out. Nice play by Al Weiss. No, wait. Yes, Weiss. Sorry. I beg your pardon. 6-3X. Freehand retired. 2 down, and here's Euler. Euler walked his first time up. John into the windup now. Here's the pitch. It's a 6-4 right-handed, shallow fly ball to left field. Cater coming on hard now and makes the catch to retire the side. Tigers score 2 on the 2-run blast by Willie Horton, and I do mean blast. Through 4 innings of play, it's 3-2 White Sox. And welcome Jeffrey into the chat. Well, yeah, Ben, I mean, the way I don't like it, but the way I look at it is we don't know who was doing it and who wasn't. I mean, at that time, that was the rules they were playing by. And as for Bonds, hell, he'd have clearly made it without using anything. I really wish he wouldn't have. I mean, he was already the best player in the league when he was with the Pirates. It was Griffey and Bonds at that time. Pretty much everybody knew it. Good game now, 3-2 here as we go to the 5th. It'll be the top of the order for the White Sox. Don Buford will start us off. He's 0 for 2 today. Hitting righty against Aguirre. Here's the windup on the pitch. That's a 110 left-handed. A grounder into the hole. It's short. Oilers there. 2 cash. 1 away. Here's Floyd Robinson now. 0 for 2. Flew to center, flew to right. Left on left. Aguirre set. 1-7 left-handed. Fly ball into center. Lazy fly ball. Demeter ranging to his right. And he gloves it for the second out. Oh, Brian Downing. I forgot about him. Yeah, he got big overnight, didn't he? Here's Tommy Agee with 2 away. Agee 2 for 2 in this one. Aguirre into the windup. The pitch to Tommy. 2-12 left-handed. A liner right into the glove of Ward, and that'll do it. 1-2-3 inning for Aguirre. He bounces back nicely after a rocky 4th. And we go to the bottom of the 5th, still 3-2. And there's Franklin, which I may have said already. As my senior appropriate memory rears its head once again. That'd be a good discussion for the chat right there. Modern players on a Hall of Fame path. I think they did a show on the MLB Network about that not too long ago. You'd have to think Ohtani's already got 1 foot in the door, right? Okay, trailing by a run in the 5th, Aguirre's going to hit. Switch hitter batting right-handed. The pitch from Tommy is a 1-11. He struck him out. Hey, I put some eye drops in too before game time. Here's Wirt, 0 for 1 with a walk. John gets the sign. Pitch to Don Word is a 1-9 left-hander. Let the grounder up the middle, cut off there by Weiss. Spins and throws in time. Weiss shading Word up the middle. Made a nice play on it. 2 down, nobody on, and here's Lumpy. Left on left, John delivers at 2-10. He goes the other way with it and lofts a lazy fly ball into left field. Danny Cater barely has to move, and that's going to do it for the Tigers in the 5th. The 1-2-3 inning for TJ. We're through 5 in nail-biter. 3-2 Chi Sox. And a shout out to Michael, who's entered the chat as well. Pretty much the gang's all here, it looks like. Missing Joel and Kurt come to mind. My apologies if I've forgotten anyone. That's how it goes. For me, anyway. Moving along to the 6th, in a tight ball game, it'll be Romano, Freeze, and Skowron for Chicago. John Romano 0 for 2 today. And there's Dave. Welcome, Dave, working and listening. Aguirre, the sign from Freehand. Pitch to Romano is a 4-9 right-handed. That's a ground ball down to third base. Wirt has it. 2 cash, 1 down. Boy, Wirt was a good third baseman. Here's Gene Freeze now. The offensive star for the Sox so far. 2 for 2 with a home run. Knocked in a pair. Hey, I can relate, Dave. Aguirre with the windup. The pitch to Freeze is a 3-10 left-handed. That is a double to 10. That's down for extra bases. That's going to roll to the wall. Demeter chases it down. Freeze rounds and holds with a double. And how about that? Gene Freeze now just needing a triple for the cycle. Could he get one? Let's look at his card for a moment. He doesn't have one on the left side. He does not have one on the right side. He didn't hit any, and he only had 106 at-bats that year. No triples. Could he hit one off of Aguirre's card? No, he could not. So, barring a pitcher coming in from the pen who gives up a triple on his card, the chances of Freeze hitting for the cycle are slim to none. However, he's on with a 1-out double here in the 6th, and Bill Skowron will come to the plate looking to pick him up. Aguirre checks the runner. Now here's the pitch to Skowron. That's going to be a 5-8 right-handed. Fly ball into center field. Demeter, 2 down. And here's Danny Cater now. Danny 2 for 2 in this one. Momentary thoughts of putting him on. They're going to pitch to him. Aguirre into the windup. It's a 4-5 right-handed. He goes the other way with it and lofts the fly ball into right. Easy play for K-line, and the side is retired. No runs a hit, 1 left. Bottom of the 6th we go. White Sox leading by a run. It'll be the heart of the order due up for Detroit here. Cash, K-line, and Horton. John an F7 as far as endurance goes. Norm 0 for 2 today. Left on left as John delivers. A 2-4 lefty swung on and missed. Strike 3. 5th strikeout of the game for John. And that'll bring up K-Line with one down. K-Line singled and walked so far. John into the windup, the pitch to K-Line. 4-4 right-handed. That's a grounder to third base X. That's trouble. That's freeze of 4E53. Tough play for Green. On a 15, he can't get it. It's through and into left field for a single. So K-Line aboard for the third time. No threat to steal. He's a 15 not held, but he's got that 10 automatic caught. +1 hold for John. +1 arm for Romano. This might be a good time to gamble, actually. 2 through 5, he's out on a 10. 4, he's got the lead. 1 to 15, the pitch to Horton. There goes K-Line. Romano's throw down. He's stolen it. Oh my goodness. How about that? K-Line surprises the house with a stolen base. His first of the season, not surprisingly. And here comes the next pitch to Horton. On a 2-7, two-star single, K-Line will round and come in to score, and the game is tied. Willie Horton comes through again, and he's knocked in all 3 runs for the Tigers today. So Horton, as previously mentioned, a monster against lefties. Not bad against righties either, but a monster against lefties. And here's Demeter 0 for 2. Horton not being held. From the stretch now. Pitch to Demeter's a 6-7 right-handed, and he loses him just outside for ball 4. Down to second goes Horton. Action now in the Chicago pen. Bob Locker throwing down there. I'm looking for a lefty, but the only lefty Chicago has in the pen is Juan Pizarro, who has a really weird backwards card. And welcome Eric Orlowski to the chat. First and second, 1 out in a tie ball game, and Bill Freehand will be the hitter now. Bill 0 for 2 today. John checks the runners. Now from the stretch, comes to the plate. 110 left-handed. It's a lazy fly ball into right field. It's a B question mark. Robinson will take it. Horton could tag up and try to go to third on that. 13, 15, 16. He's only out on a 20. He's going to tag and try to go to third. He has to hold up. Horton started to take off for third. Robinson got it in very quickly. Horton wisely retreats to the bag. 2 down, and here's Euler. 0 for 1 with a walk. John trying to get out of this inning now. Euler, a light-hitting, good fielding shortstop. Here's the pitch. 1-7 left-handed. That's a ground ball down to short. That's going to be Weiss. Shovels the short way to Buford, and that'll do it. The Tigers, however, tie it up, a run on 2 hits. Again, all 3 runs today driven in by Willie Horton. We've played 6 in Detroit. We're all knotted up at 3. Both starting pitchers still in it. Weiss, the pitcher's spot, and Buford due up for the White Sox. Weiss, a light-hitting glove man, batting a righty against Aguirre. He's 1 for 2 today. The windup on the pitch is a 5-6 right-handed swung on and missed, strike 3. So Weiss goes down on strikes for the second time today. And John is 6 with end power. He's going to go ahead and stay in the game. We're going to let Tommy bat here, right-handed hitter. The pitch from Aguirre is a 1-6. That's a grounder wide to second. Lumpy has it and throws him out. So 2 down quickly, and it'll be up to Don Buford. Don 0 for 3 today. Aguirre set now. The windup and the pitch to Don is a 6-11 right-handed. That's a base hit into right field. Buford went the other way with it. A little inside-out swing and pokes it into right field for a 2-out single. Buford is speed to burn. He's a star 17 Steeler. Once again, Detroit with a -4 battery knocks him down to a 13 not held. And in a game this close, they're not going to take any chances. They're going to hold him on, making him an 11. So Buford being held, Floyd Robinson steps into the left-handed batter's box. Floyd 0 for 3 today. Aguirre in S7 in his first potential fatigue inning. From the stretch, here's the pitch to Robinson. That's a 1-7 left-handed, a lazy fly ball into center. Demeter has it, and the side is retired. No runs a hit, 1 left. As we stretch in the 7th. We're all knotted up at 3. Another good ball game, eh? We've had a run of them lately. As we stretch, I'm going to top off my coffee. Be back in just a second. And I'm back quicker than I thought. I forgot I had about a half of a cup of iced coffee in the fridge. I'm going to have that instead. And we'll be set to go in the bottom of the 7th here. And now we have a dilemma. To hit for Aguirre or not to hit for Aguirre. Well, I let John hit. What's good for the goose, I guess. We'll let both starters go. Aguirre switch hitter batting righty. John a 4-2. That is going to be a base hit by Aguirre. Homer, or in his case, single 1-6. He rolls the 6, and how about that? Aguirre helps himself out with a leadoff single. That'll turn the lineup over, and Don Wirt will come to bat now. I don't know if Eric Orlowski is still in the chat, but I should mention, guys, that I've known Eric for over 50 years. Wirt 0 for 2 with the walk, standing in from the right side. John working from the stretch. Here comes the pitch on a 5-4 right-handed. That's a fly ball to center field X. That's a Gold Glover, Tommy Agee patrolling out there. Agee a 1-E8 going back, still going back. On a 2, he makes a diving catch just before the track. Holy crap, robbing extra bases from Don Wirt. What a play by Tommy Agee. It's an 8X web gem. Holy crap, and if they had a replay, they'd be looking at that one all week long. And Ben said it all right there. The one guy on this team with the glove. So Wirt robbed on an amazing play by Tommy Agee, and here's Lumpy now. Lumpy 0 for 3 today. John tips his cap to Agee. Now set from the stretch. The pitch to Lumpy on a 1-8 left hand. That's a ground ball right back to Tommy. Whirls and fires to Buford for 1 to Skowron. Not in time. That will be a force play. They'll go 1-4 force. Aguirre's erased. He's probably fine with that. He can go rest as Norm Cash comes to bat. So Lumpy at first with 2 down, and here's Storm and Norm Cash. 0 for 3 in this one. Left on left as John from the stretch comes in there with a 5-5 left-handed. It's a grounder to short X. That's Weiss, a 3E68. Tough play for Al into the hole. And here's the play on a 15. He's got it to Buford for the force, and the inning comes to an end. 6-4X, side retired. No runs, a hit. 1 left on, and John bailed out by some excellent defense from the White Sox in that inning. And you know I don't say that very often. Not with this White Sox team. We've played 7. It's a 3-3 ball game. Good question, Dave. I don't even know what it is. And absolutely BR. Franklin, yes, sir. We go to the 8th at a 3-3 game. It'll be the heart of the White Sox order. Agee, Romano, and Freese. Thanks to Kenyon, by the way, for pointing out the correct pronunciation of Freese. Agee's 2 for 3 today, and more importantly, may have saved the game with that incredible play in center field. The Geary set now. Here's the pitch to Agee. That's a 1-5 left hand, and it's a high fly ball to deep left field. That's going to be off the wall for extra bases. Agee into second easily, standing with a leadoff double. And now you have to wonder just how long Dressen will stick with Aguirre. And the answer is not long. Here he comes. Oh my goodness. Ask the question and it shall be answered. The right-hander Bob Locker has been summoned. Sorry, wrong team. The right-hander Fred Gladding has been summoned from the Detroit bullpen. Gladding pitched in this game in real life. Sorry, guys, I had Locker all queued up there and jumped the gun. So a leadoff double by Agee sends Aguirre to the showers. 7+ today. He allowed 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 hits. 3 runs so far. Did not walk a man. And he struck out 3. So here's Gladding, the right-hander. 3 right-handed batters in a row due up for the White Sox. Gladding in the replay so far. He's been in 9 games, 0-1 with a save and a very high 7.84 ERA across 10 1/3 innings. Card, of course, much better than those results would indicate. So he's coming on to face John Romano now in the 8th inning. Go-ahead run in scoring position and nobody out. Romano 0 for 3 today. Gladding getting the sign from Freehand. Here's the pitch to Romano. That's a 1-6 right-handed, and he loses him. Ball 4. Romano down to first on the walk. The White Sox are in business here in the 8th. First and second, and nobody out. Here's Gene Freeze. Unfortunately, a D bunter. On the other hand, with a single and a double and a home run to his credit today, why would you bunt with him? 3 for 3. That was against Aguirre, however, facing a righty now. Gladding from the stretch. The pitch to Freeze is a 5-4 right-handed. That's catcher's card X. That's going to be Freehand. Gold Glover with a 1-E-2. And here's the roll on the play. On an 18, it's a foul out to the catcher. Runners hold. So nice play by Freehand. 2 away, and here's Skowron. Skowron 1 for 3 today. Moose standing in from the right side. Gladding set. From the stretch. Pitch to Moose is a 3-5 grounder down to third. That's Wirt. He goes to Lumpy for 1. On to Cash for the double play, and Gladding gets out of the inning. Holy cow, let's take another look at that one. 3-5 grounder to third base A. 5-4-3 double play ends the inning. No runs, a hit, 1 left. Wait, no, that isn't right. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. So the White Sox are turned away in the 8th. To the bottom of the 8th we go. You got to feel the White Sox wasted a big opportunity right there. Hard pressed to score anyway in this season. They can't really afford to waste many opportunities. The Tigers will send up Kaline, Horton, and Demeter. John, most likely on a very short leash at this point. Locker is ready, as we already know. Kaline 2 for 2 with a walk so far. John gets the sign from Romano. The windup. The pitch to Kaline's a 6-7 right-handed, and he walks him to lead off the inning. And that's going to bring out Eddie Stanky, and that's going to do it for John. There is no way he's going to let him pitch to Horton again with runners on. Or in this case, a runner on. So John departs, 7+ for him. Enter Bob Walker. TJ only allowed 5 hits, 3 runs so far. Uncharacteristically walked 5, and he struck out, also struck out 5. Runner at first, his responsibility as Locker enters. Locker a righty, of course. Locker's numbers on the season, he's been awesome for the White Sox. He's been in 12 games. He's 1-2 with a pair of saves and a 0.98 ERA across 18 innings of work. Yes, it was, Eric. Just showing the respect this team has for Willie Horton. Horton has driven in all 3 Detroit runs in this one. Still dangerous against a right-hander. Locker ready to work now. Gets the sign from Romano. From the stretch, the pitch to Willie Horton is a 6-2. That's a grounder down to short. Weiss goes to Buford for 1. To Skowron, not in time. That'll be a force play. 6-4 force erases K-line. Horton's on first with 1 away. Not a threat to steal. And here comes the way overdue Don Demeter. 0 for 2 with a walk today. Hey, you said it, Franklin. You must have watched the Mookie at the Beach video. Okay, here's Demeter now. Horton takes his lead. Locker out of the stretch. The pitch to Don Demeter's a 5-9 right-handed. That is ripped over the bag and into the corner. Down into the corner. That's going to be a triple for Demeter. K-line scores and the Tigers take the lead. Let's take another look at it. 5-9 right-handed, a triple to 10. The roll is a 1. And today's triple has been brought to you by Napa Auto Parts. So Demeter, who's been in a funk for so long I can't even remember, unloads a triple here with 1 out in the 8th, pushing across the go-ahead run, and Detroit leads it 4-2-3. Bill Freehand due up now. The White Sox will pull the infield in with 1 out. Locker. 2 Freehand. 3-7 right-handed. It's a fly ball to left field. B question mark. I don't think that applies to left field, does it? Yes, it does. Absolutely does. So it's a B question mark. To left field. Demeter a 12 plus 2 of 14. Cater a plus 1. That's 15. He's going to tag up and try to score. Here comes Demeter. The throw to the plate. He scores. Sack fly by Freehand. Demeter to the plate, and it's 5-3. What confused me there, guys, is the fly ball B question mark doesn't apply on the tag up to second base to go to third. That has to be a straight fly ball B and only to the right fielder. That sometimes is kind of difficult to remember for me for some reason. So the base is clear, 2 down, and here's Euler. Franklin, I've only seen the inside the park home run in the computer version of the game. Locker into the windup now. Here's the pitch to Euler. 1-3 right-handed. Single to 6. On a 16, that liner is speared third by Freeze. And that'll do it, but not before the Tigers push across 2. A walk, a triple, and a sacrifice fly. And we go to the 9th. Detroit 5, Chicago 3. And here comes Larry Sherry out of the pen, the Detroit closer. Sherry pitched in this game in real life. And he's going to come on here and try to get the save. Sherry on the year has been magnificent for the Tigers. He's been in 10 ball games, 1 win, 6 saves, at a microscopic 0.63 ERA across 14 1/3 innings, in which he surrendered only 5 hits and struck out 16. Card, decent, not nearly that good. So here's a case of a player clearly exceeding his card to this point anyway. And let's check Detroit defensively now before we go to the 9th. Horton's going to come out. Mickey Stanley's going to replace Horton and play center field. Demeter will move to left. Stanley a 2E2 -1 in center. Demeter a 3 in center improves to a 2E7 -1 in left. Okay, Sherry's ready to work now, and the Sox will send up a pinch hitter for Cater. Cater plays almost exclusively against lefties. And Pete Ward will come off the bench to bat for him here leading off the 9th. Pete Ward, third baseman, outfielder. On the season, just 16 for 73. That's .219. He does have a pair of homers and 8 RBIs. Sherry getting the sign now from Freehand. Here's the windup and the pitch to Pete Ward. 4-7 lefty, and he loses him, ball 4. So Sherry walks the first batter. And that'll bring the tying run to the plate. With Al Weiss due, they're going to call him back. And Ron Hansen will be the batter. Hansen normally the starting shortstop. Hansen on the season hitting .213. No home runs. Hansen standing in now from the right side. Sherry checks the runner. From the stretch, the pitch to Hansen is a 2-8 right-handed, and he pops him up on the left side. Euler calling for it. He'll squeeze it for the first out. And the White Sox will go to the bench once again. Send up a hitter for Locker. Let's see who it's going to be. Tom McCraw grabs the bat, the left-handed hitting first baseman outfielder. Will pinch hit for Locker here in the 9th. McCraw off to a very rough start despite a decent card. He's just 7 for 54 on the season. That's a 130 average. Sherry checks the runner now. From the stretch, the pitch to McCraw is a 5-8 left-handed, swung on and missed, strike 3. McCraw down on strikes, and the White Sox are down to their final out, and it will be Don Buford. Buford 1 for 4. Ward takes his lead. Sherry from the stretch. The pitch to Buford. A 6-5 left-handed. Swung on and missed. Strike 3, and that's the ball game. Sherry does it again. Picking up his 7th save of the season. 5-3 the final. I'll have the totals for you in just a moment. Gladding in his inning, no hits, a walk, no Ks. So Sherry gets the save, his 7th. Gladding is the winning pitcher. He squares his record at 1-1. Locker gave up a hit and a run. No walks, no strikeouts. Chief Spokane Gary, player of the game. You nailed it, Franklin. None other than Willie Horton. Totals on the ball game for the Tigers: 5 runs, just 6 hits, no errors. For the White Sox, 3 runs, 10 hits, no errors. 10 hits, that's a lot of hits for the White Sox. So the White Sox struggles continue. For the Tigers, they improved to 15-11 and moved to within 3 games of the first place Orioles. And there's Kurt Miller. Hi, Kurt. To answer your question, we broke it. We're sitting at 87 today, which feels really comfortable compared to the past week or so. Almost 2 weeks, really, although I wasn't here for 4 of those days. Looking ahead on the schedule, we've got a doubleheader coming up. It's the Yankees at the Athletics. So we'll play the first game tomorrow, 1:30 Pacific time as usual. Al Downing will take the mound for the Yankees. Raleigh Sheldon will pitch for the Athletics. I want to thank everybody for hanging out with me. Hope you enjoyed the game. Hope to see you tomorrow. Meanwhile, Spokane Steve wishing you all a very pleasant evening.